arrested one of the worst MS-13 gang members. He was one of the top 3 leaders of MS-13 in our entire country. He was living
El Salvador, March 2024, 6:47 a.m. The sun hasn't cleared the mountains when federal agents receive the encrypted transmission, coordinates, names. A cache of intelligence that shouldn't exist. What begins as a routine information sharing protocol with Salvadoran authorities becomes something else entirely within 90 seconds of decryption. The message contains operational details for 2,743 confirmed MS-13 members currently operating on United States soil, not suspected members, confirmed with addresses, employment records, communication networks mapped to the cellular tower. The kind of granular intelligence that takes years to develop, handed over in a single data packet from a government that spent the last 18 months systematically dismantling the gang's infrastructure in their country of origin. Federal response, immediate and overwhelming. Within 6 hours, the FBI activates Operation Devil Horns, the largest coordinated gang enforcement action in American history. Homeland Security Investigations joins immediately. ICE enforcement and removal operations mobilizes every available field team. The DEA contributes agents familiar with MS-13's drug distribution networks. ATF sends specialists who've tracked the gang's weapons pipelines for years. The operational briefing happens in segments across 12 regional command centers simultaneously: Los Angeles, Houston, New York, Washington, D.C., Charlotte. Each location receives identical instructions: 72 hours to prepare, 0 tolerance for intelligence leaks. Arrests to begin at 4 a.m. Eastern on a Friday, selected specifically because MS-13 leadership traditionally holds weekend planning sessions Thursday nights. They have one shot. If word reaches the gang's command structure, thousands of targets disappear into immigrant communities, where federal agents can't distinguish members from civilians without weeks of surveillance. The intelligence. How El Salvador changed everything. El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele implemented a state of emergency in March 2022 that suspended constitutional rights and allowed mass arrests of suspected gang members. The Salvadoran government arrested over 75,000 people in 2 years. The prisons overflowed. The gangs collapsed internally as members facing decades in brutal Salvadoran lockup provided information to reduce sentences. But here's what American law enforcement didn't anticipate. The Salvadoran National Civil Police didn't just arrest people. They cataloged everything: financial records, family connections, communication logs, operational hierarchies, territory maps. And critically, they tracked which members fled to the United States with such detailed precision that American agents could identify not just names and locations, but employment status, vehicle registrations, and social networks. The data package sent to U.S. authorities contained biometric information, fingerprints already in the system from previous arrests that hadn't triggered deportation, and evidence of continued criminal activity including specific murders, extortion schemes, and drug trafficking operations that federal prosecutors could immediately build cases around. MS-13. Or Mara Salvatrucha operates differently than traditional organized crime. The gang functions as a decentralized network of cliques, each maintaining semi-autonomous control over specific territories while adhering to broader organizational rules. They communicate through coded messages, often using family members as intermediaries. They embed themselves in immigrant communities, using fear and cultural isolation to prevent cooperation with law enforcement. The Salvadoran intelligence cracked this model open. It identified which cliques reported to which regional leaders. It mapped money flows from street-level extortion up through the hierarchy. It documented hits ordered, completed, and paid for. It provided the connective tissue that turns individual arrests into organizational decapitation. The 72-hour countdown federal agents don't sleep during preparation. They surveil. They confirm addresses against utility records and lease agreements. They identify vehicles. They map escape routes. They coordinate with local police departments who've been dealing with MS-13 violence for years, but lack the resources for simultaneous mass arrests. In Los Angeles, where MS-13 controls territories in multiple neighborhoods, FBI teams identify 387 targets. They know where these individuals eat breakfast, where they park, which family members live nearby. The surveillance photography fills 3 dedicated servers. Houston teams track 312 targets, many working in construction and service industries during the day, conducting gang business after dark. Federal agents photograph them arriving at legitimate job sites, then follow them to meetings where they collect extortion payments from small business owners too terrified to refuse. New York's operation focuses on 276 targets scattered across Queens, the Bronx, and Long Island. Many have been in the country for years, some with families, children in school, surface appearances of integration. The gang tattoos hide under long sleeves and high collars. The violence happens in shadows. The Washington, D.C. metro area yields 198 targets. Charlotte identifies 156. The numbers cascade through mid-sized cities that experience Central American immigration surges over the past decade, places where MS-13 saw opportunity in unprotected communities. Every target gets a threat assessment. High-value members with violent histories receive tactical team assignments. Lower-level members get standard arrest protocols, but everyone gets arrested simultaneously because the moment word spreads that raids are happening, the window closes. Friday, 4 a.m. Eastern, the operation begins. The raids happen fast. Doors breach, flashbangs disorient. Agents swarm. In 72 minutes, federal teams execute 2,109 simultaneous arrests across 34 states. In Los Angeles, tactical teams arrest MS-13's West Coast regional coordinator as he sleeps next to a loaded AR-15 and $47,000 in cash. His phone contains encrypted messages ordering 3 murders in the past month. His laptop has spreadsheets tracking extortion payments from 127 businesses. Houston agents arrest a clique leader who ran a human smuggling operation that brought MS-13 recruits from Central America through cartel-controlled routes into Texas. He kept records. Names, dates, payments. Prosecutors will use his own documentation to build cases against 17 co-conspirators. In a suburban Maryland home, agents arrest a man who worked as a middle school janitor. His real job involved recruiting teenagers into MS-13, identifying vulnerable kids from immigrant families, offering protection and belonging. His arrest prevents the recruitment pipeline from feeding new members into a disintegrating organization. The operation continues through the weekend. Agents work 48-hour shifts. By Sunday evening, the arrest count reaches 2,743. Every single target identified in the Salvadoran intelligence, where he's constated that work was postuwas matans wandering. U plus an additional 187 individuals discovered during raids who weren't in the original data. What federal agents found: the evidence recovery fills warehouses. Agents seized 347 firearms, including fully automatic weapons, AK-47 variants, and military-grade body armor. They recover $8.3 million in cash hidden in walls, buried in yards, stuffed in refrigerators. They confiscate 27 kilograms of cocaine, 14 kilograms of methamphetamine, and enough fentanyl to kill millions. But the most damaging evidence comes from digital devices: phones, laptops, tablets, hard drives containing years of communications that members thought encrypted messaging apps protected. Federal forensic teams crack the encryption. They find murder-for-hire conversations with prices negotiated like commodity trades. Hit orders cost between $5,000 and $15,000 depending on target difficulty. Some cliques offered bulk discounts. Extortion payment ledgers tracking hundreds of businesses forced to pay rent for operating in MS-13 territory. Restaurants, grocery stores, construction companies. Monthly payments ranging from $500 to $5,000, with brutal consequences for non-payment documented in photos showing vandalized businesses and beaten owners. Human trafficking records revealing MS-13's role in smuggling operations that moved people from Central America through Mexico into the United States. The gang charged between $8,000 and $12,000 per person, sometimes forcing women into prostitution if they couldn't pay. Drug distribution networks mapped with corporate precision. Supply chains, territory divisions, profit margins calculated. MS-13 wasn't just a gang. It was a criminal enterprise generating tens of millions of dollars annually through systematic violence and exploitation. The prosecutions. Justice at scale, federal prosecutors file charges under RICO statutes, treating MS-13 as a continuing criminal enterprise. The Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act allows prosecutors to charge gang leaders for crimes committed by members under their direction, even without direct evidence of participation. Of the 2,930 individuals arrested, 2,407 face federal charges. The remainder face state charges in jurisdictions where they committed violent crimes, but federal prosecutors lack evidence for RICO cases. Immigration violations add administrative proceedings for non-citizens, guaranteeing deportation after sentences complete. The federal cases break down into categories. 714 defendants face murder or murder conspiracy charges. MS-13's culture demands violence. Members advance through demonstrated brutality. Federal prosecutors have recordings of leaders ordering killings to maintain territorial control and organizational discipline. 892 defendants face drug trafficking charges. MS-13 distributed cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin across territories from California to New York. They controlled street-level sales in immigrant neighborhoods where residents feared reporting to police. They used violence to eliminate competition. 1,189 defendants face extortion and racketeering charges. The systematic extraction of payments from businesses and individuals constituted MS-13's primary revenue stream in many areas. Business owners testify about years of payments made under threat of violence, shops burned, family members beaten. The trials proceed through 2024 and 2025. Defendants who cooperate receive reduced sentences. Most don't cooperate. MS-13's organizational culture punishes cooperation with death, a threat that maintains power even behind bars. By February 2026, convictions reached 2,289 defendants. Average sentence, 23 years federal prison. High-level members receive life sentences. The gang's organizational structure in the United States ceases to function as a coordinated network. The communities. Life after MS-13. In neighborhoods where MS-13 maintained control through fear, the arrests create immediate visible change. Business owners stop paying extortion. Families let children play outside. So residents report crimes to police without terror of retaliation. A restaurant owner in Los Angeles who paid MS-13 $800 monthly for 6 years speaks at a community meeting. "I never thought it would end. Every month they came. If I said no, they said they'd burn my restaurant. They'd hurt my family. When the FBI arrested them, I couldn't believe it. For the first time in 6 years, I kept my money. I hired another employee. I renovated. They took so much from us." Schools report decreased gang recruitment activity. Teenagers who faced pressure to join MS-13 or become victims find that pressure evaporates when the gang's organizational structure collapses. Youth programs expand into neighborhoods where gang violence previously made intervention impossible. But the impact isn't uniform. Some communities experience violent spikes as remaining gang members, desperate and disorganized, lash out or compete for abandoned territories. Local police departments, coordinating with federal agents, maintain increased presence in high-risk areas through transition periods. Immigration advocacy groups raise concerns about arrested individuals who claim no gang affiliation, caught in sweeps targeting addresses where MS-13 members lived. Federal authorities review these cases individually, releasing 17 people determined to have no gang connection, charging others with lesser offenses when evidence doesn't support RICO prosecution. The numbers that matter: before Operation Devil Horns, MS-13 operated in 42 states with an estimated 10,000 members nationwide. The gang generated approximately $500 million annually through combined drug trafficking, extortion, human smuggling, and contract killings. After the operation, MS-13's domestic presence collapses to fragmented cliques unable to coordinate across territories. Revenue streams dry up. Communication networks fracture. The gang continues existing, but its ability to function as a national criminal organization ends. Federal officials estimate the operation prevented approximately 200 planned murders based on communications found on seized devices. They shut down extortion operations targeting over 3,000 businesses. They disrupted drug distribution networks that moved hundreds of kilograms of narcotics monthly. The financial cost: Operation Devil Horns consumed $47 million in federal resources. Surveillance, coordination, arrests, prosecutions. The cost of incarcerating 2,289 defendants for an average 23-year sentence will exceed $2 billion. The human cost can't be quantified precisely. MS-13 murdered thousands of people over decades. They terrorized communities. They recruited children into lives of violence. The arrests don't resurrect victims. They don't erase trauma. They don't solve every problem in affected neighborhoods, but they demonstrate something crucial. Coordinated law enforcement action, supported by international intelligence cooperation, can dismantle criminal organizations that seemed permanent fixtures in American communities. What comes next? MS-13 will attempt to rebuild. Gang hierarchies in Central America will send new members. Released prisoners will try reassembling networks. The conditions that created MS-13, immigration without integration, communities isolated from law enforcement, economic desperation, persist. Federal authorities maintain pressure. Enhanced cooperation with Central American governments continues intelligence sharing. Immigration enforcement prioritizes gang members for removal. Prosecutors keep RICO cases active against remaining leadership. The operation succeeds because it combined international cooperation, precise intelligence, overwhelming coordinated force, and sustained prosecution. Remove any element and the outcome changes. You can't arrest your way out of gang problems permanently, but you can break organizations so thoroughly that rebuilding takes years or decades. You can create space for communities to heal. You can demonstrate that criminal enterprises, regardless of how deeply embedded, remain vulnerable to determined law enforcement. Operation Devil Horns accomplished that, the largest gang takedown in American history.